Hello, everybody. I'm just getting my camera all fixated here. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Hope you're all having a great day. Welcome to book club night and book journal night for March. We had to move it over a little bit because I had a complex schedule last week. So I'm so glad you guys are excited to come here today. I'm just pulling up the live so that I can see any comments that are coming in. Let me just open this up. Okay, so today we are going to be doing March spread. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. So happy you're here. We are going to be doing my March books that I have read, as well as we have two book club books to chat about and to journal about. So very excited to get into those. So let me show you what I have for stickers for today. We have the March reading stats and the March reading favorites. Hello, Sabrina, welcome. I have two sheets of the deco because I always use a ton of them. And then I have the March reading icons. I've already filled in a few on my bookshelf. I have the journaling kit, the washi strips, and then I did two of the audiobook review pages because I listened to a ton of audiobooks this month as opposed to physical books. So, yeah, needed those. And then I did read both book club books. So we have the Lonely Hearts Book Club, which is our main book for the month, and then the optional extra one. Hello, welcome is Counterfeit, and I'm very, very excited to get into it because I honestly enjoyed both of them so much. So I hope you guys did too. Let me just move this just a touch. Okay, maybe it's too low. No, raise it just a bit. Okay, so let's jump into it. The first thing I'm going to do is I have been loving using these dashboards to break up the month, and then I'm going to put my stats on this page. So I'm going to do the same thing this month. Actually, I do my March reads on this side. So we'll start with my dashboard. How are you guys all doing today? Welcome. Oh, first time. I'm so excited. Welcome. You'll have to let me know if you read either of the books and what you think of them. We'll start with that. See what you guys think of the books, and I'll give you kind of my idea. You're still reading Counterfeit and are really enjoying it. That's awesome. I'm so glad you're liking it. Okay, we're just gonna put these giant sticker right here. And I'm gonna put some deco, I think, on this page, but I'm gonna do that at the end because I want to see how much I have left. Like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna have extras or not, so we'll see how it is. I know. How is it April 1st already tomorrow? I am 100% in agreement with that. You read the Lonely Hearts Book Club and loved it, and you read the Lonely Hearts Book Club and actually really enjoyed it. Oh, good! I'm so glad you guys liked it. That's fantastic. That's so good to hear. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to do like a banner at the top for March reads, and then I put all the books that I read for the month in there. So I'm using these filled in ones, and I'm just gonna color it in first, and then I'll set up my page. So I read both books by the skin of my teeth, you guys. I was finishing up the Lonely Hearts Book Club today at supper time. I was trying really hard to physically read it, and I just am having the hardest time finding the time. So I listened to it on audio today and loved it. So I'm so glad I decided to switch over because I'm glad I got to finish reading it. But I read Counterfeit like towards the middle of the month and really liked that one too. You listened to both books, but back in January. I'm so glad you liked it. That's awesome. I loved the multiple perspectives too. I find that it's not very common for like a standalone, so I was really, really excited about it. And I felt like they did a really good interpretation, especially in the audio. I felt like the voices were all different enough that I can kind of distinguish them. So I felt like they did a really good job there. This is very, very bright. So yeah, I really liked it. So my ratings for both are Counterfeit, I gave a 4-star, and I gave Lonely Hearts Book Club a 4-star as well. I felt like they were really, really good. So I'll let you know your star ratings for both of those. And then as soon as I get this colored in, I'll start chatting about the books because we got 2 books to talk about this time. Last month, I only ended up reading one of them, so glad I got to read both of them today. Hope you're all having a good day. My kids are on spring break this week, so they go and visit their parents or their grandparents. Sorry, not their parents. Jeez Louise. They go visit their grandparents for a couple days, so it's been very quiet in my house, but that's okay. Okay, let's get this filled in here. All right. All right, I'm going to put a nice big banner up here. And then I ended up reading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books this month, which hallelujah, because I have been struggling. I've only read 10 books out of my 55 book goal, and so I'm 4 books behind right now. But I'm trying to listen to a bunch of audios to kind of like boost those up. So hopefully that helps. Where did those go? I use these blank book covers to mark the different books. I'm gonna put those in. You read 5 this month too. That's awesome. What did you guys read this month other than the book club books? I ended up reading or listening to all of my books this month. Like I said, very, very busy, but audiobooks are a lifesaver for me. And I just got the holds were just like released for the 2 books for April today. So I was like, yay, so excited. So now I can work on those right away. I'm going to be doing both those in audio as well. You're enjoying Frida McFadden. Good for you. I know what lots of people love her, and that's fantastic. I personally am not a thriller reader. I cannot do it. I enjoy my sleep way too much to listen to to read thrillers. So, but I know she's extremely popular and lots of people really love her. So, that's great. Okay. The Air Affair and Atmosphere. Okay, did you like Atmosphere? Because I have heard really good things. And I'm curious to know like what genre it is and like if I should be reading it. What do you think? Do you think I'd like it? Intruder. Oh, I haven't heard of that one either. Oh my goodness, I love that you're reading Harry Potter. That's fantastic. And you're going to Universal. That's amazing. It's so, so fun. I went to Universal in California and loved it. Loved it, loved it. Okay, so let's chat about the Lonely Hearts Book Club because that was the main book for the month. So this book starts with a girl named Salome, and she works at a library, and she is like kind of going through the motions, I think, of life. She is engaged, she has her dream job, and her fiance is like a very, very nice person. Like, he is a chiropractor, he's got a good job, he's got a really good family, which is something that she kind of doesn't really have. And she like wants that so bad. Um, and he just like treats her really well and like but he's just kind of boring and he's just like not kind of bland kind of thing is what I would say. And she ends up meeting this customer at the library, and his name is Arthur. He is an older gentleman, and he's very grumpy. Like, he nothing makes him happy. He's always angry about everything. He loves to argue. He loves to be correct. And she kind of like starts pushing back a little bit. Like, she starts like engaging with him and starts like having their banter back and forth. And so one day he likes to tell her everything that he is thinking, and one day he kind of takes it a little bit too far, and then he doesn't come into the library anymore. Now, he so Salome gets very nervous and worried that there is something wrong with him, and so she looks up where he lives in their library database, which is against the rules, and she goes and sees how he's doing to make sure that he's okay. So she brings her fiance and they check out to make sure he's okay. Turns out he's had some nurses come into the place and he um is has had a fall and he's not doing great. So she goes in and like chats with him, and his house is like super cluttered with books and dirty and messy, and he's clearly very alone. She ends up meeting his neighbor from across the street, which is Maisie, and they kind of um, become friendly to like help out Arthur. Now, to finish off Salone's story. So she ends up getting fired from the library because it is against policy to look up customers' information in the computer database. And so her boss finds out and fires her, and she decides to become like the unofficial kind of not so much caregiver, but she helps Arthur like clean up his house and keeps him company and just kind of watches over him the best she can because she just like has grown such an attachment and love to this old man. So then they kind of move over to Maisie's story. Now, Maisie is a psychic that works like on the telephone, and she kind of uses her ability to read people to kind of give them advice and tips on their love life, but also just their life in general. And she has a daughter that's a teenager, and that daughter lives with their father. And she feels very lonely because her daughter doesn't really like to stay with her and is very separated from her. Um, and so she always is trying to like get her daughter to pay attention to her and to be with her. And so she is also very lonely and alone. She loves to cook. She's always cooking for the group and stuff like that. And so she becomes friends with Salone and Arthur, and she starts going over to their house as well. Now, they decide to start a book club together as a way to just be able to communicate a little bit better, I think. They often like talk in book quotes and they pick books based on how they're feeling at the moment, and then they talk about it. So then we move over to Mateo, who is a co-worker of Salone at the library. Now, Mateo, um, he has a little bit of an estranged relationship with his mom because his mom is a performer and he doesn't really like the attention and he doesn't like going up on stage with her even though like he's this amazing singer. He just doesn't like the attention and doesn't like going up there. But his boyfriend is like very supportive and very kind to him and always encouraging and loving, and he used to be a nurse. So he gets dragged into the book club to kind of be a nurse for Arthur. And then he kind of joins the book club and he becomes friends with them. And then we have one more character. I'm sorry, this is a lot of characters and a lot of background story. We have one more character named Greg, and Greg is a person that we at the beginning of the story we're trying to figure out who it was, but he is the grandson to Arthur, and he has come back. His mom has passed, and he has come to make amends with his grandfather, but also to take care of him once he's found out that he is sick. So they kind of have a strange relationship, but they are building it and working on it. And so he originally stays with Maisie, but he ends up living with Arthur in the end. Now, the whole story is about how all of these people don't like they're kind of all lonely and they're kind of all people that don't really know how to express their feelings and express what they want. And they're all not really going after what they really want in life. Like, so it's all about Arthur learning to talk about his feelings and to express his love and gratitude of people and to not push them away. It's about Sloane actually learning to be her own person and not just go in the motions of what everybody else kind of wants her to be and what she's expecting that she should be. It's about Maisie kind of like learning to have other friends and other people outside of her daughter and like learning to love herself. It is about Mateo, like he flounders with going from job to job to job, learning to kind of learn that success is not such a bad thing. Like he's very scared of success, like his mom. So he um, doesn't really want to perform, but he ends up performing because he has the love of the stage, even though he's been trying to fight it. So it's they talk through books and stuff like that, and I thought that was a really, really neat part of the story, is that one of the things they do is they will highlight, quotes and phrases from the books that they're reading. One of the main ones is, like, Anne of Green Gables was a big one at the end. They will highlight parts to kind of express how they're feeling and how much they love somebody because they're not really great at like communicating. So the Lonely Hearts is like they're all kind of lonely together. So I thought that was really, really sweet. I thought that was really cool to like have the books and the words in the books be your voice. I thought that part was really, really fun. And I really loved how at the end, like they all had different highlighter colors to to say like whose thoughts and feelings were each one in the book. I thought that part was really, really good. Sorry, I feel like I talked a lot there explaining everything that was happening, but there's so many storylines and they all kind of like crisscross and move around. So I really loved the book. I thought that the characters were all very unique. I felt like they all had a lot of depth. Like they were very well-rounded characters. They didn't just like shove a bunch of characters in there and then you were confused of who was who. Like it was very clear who was which person, which I really, really appreciated. Um, so yeah, I think my favorite part was the highlighting of the books. I thought that was really, really cool. Okay, so The Night and the Moth is one of the books that I read this month. This is probably my most disappointing book of the year. I wanted to love this book so bad, and I loved the concept. And honestly, at times there was parts I was so invested. But then there was huge chunks that I just couldn't care about, and I was so bored, and it was so drawn out, and it was so, like, way longer than it needed to be, and it was just yeah, it dragged for me. So I ended up giving it 3 stars. I originally was gonna give it 2, But honestly, the last 5 minutes of the book were amazing. And I kind of wish the whole book was like that. But I found it very all over the place, very slow at the same time. I don't know. Very disappointed because I was so excited about it, but I still love the concept of the book. Probably will not read the second one. Second book I listened to was Glorious Rivals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and she is my absolute one of my favorite authors for sure. This one. And this is so there is the Inheritance Games, and then there is the Grandest Games, and this is the second book in that series. So, Counterfeit 4. So yeah, what parts of the book did you guys like for Lonely Hearts Book Club? Which were things that stuck out to you? And I think one of the things that I really liked is they didn't make because there could have been a slight love story between Greg and Sloane, and I loved that they didn't go that way. Like I love that Arthur said like, you guys don't know what like just neutral friends are. Like you can just be friends. You don't have to just have love stories. Like even though you may love a person doesn't mean you have to like date them. Like I like that they didn't have to go that way because it would feel like he's taking her away from her fiance. Like I love that they were just friends. That's not to say like in the future they might be something, but I liked that they just kept it as friends. I felt like they um they didn't need to do all that. So I really appreciated that part. You liked being in Arthur's head. I did too. Honestly, that was the hardest. That those stories made me choke up quite a bit. His perspective on the whole thing because he's the kind of the grumpy character the whole time, and you're not really sure like what he's all thinking and feeling, and listening to his perspective. Oh, just like broke my heart. His story was really, really sad. I agree. I liked that too. What do you think? I think that's cute, this page. Okay, let's move on to my stats page. Fun. Okay, this is where I always have to look back because I can never remember which order I do everything. Okay. Let's do something here. Were there any books that they chatted about that you guys loved? I have not read Anne of Green Gables myself. That was one of the books I knew. And I've not read it myself, but I have watched the movies. Okay, so we go here. Are you guys journaling tonight too? Working on your journal? Why was the daughter so mean? Oh, like Maisie's daughter? Is that who you're talking about? If so, harsh. Like I feel like they said that he was more of like a famous person, right? So the only thing I could think of is that maybe she was very like overly privileged and just kind of a spoiled person, that they were kind of portraying that because I think they were trying to come across that that's how most teenagers are like, and I was like, I don't think so. That seemed very far from what normal teenagers are like. Yeah, some teenagers might be a little bit more harsh and not wanting to hang out with their parents all the time for sure. But that was excessive. That it was hard to listen to those ones for sure because she just like ugh, it was just too much. Yeah, I know. I never. You love Angry Grapes. Oh, okay, that's so nice to know. I have never read it. I just watched the movies. but I should read it. Okay, we got books read, physical books, audiobooks, pages read, time listened. Nope, never read that one. Yeah, I think that they were trying to like allude that she was atypical, but I thought that was a lot. I think she was being a typical teenager, being mean to her parents. Yeah, I agree, like not getting her way. I just felt like it was excessive. Excessive. And I think maybe the audiobook, like she was extremely sassy in the audiobook. Maybe like your interpretation when you're reading the book itself wouldn't have been so bad, but she sounded horrible on the audiobook. Okay, then we do like this. And we have most read genre, 5-star reads, DNF books series completed. Most read genre, 5-star reads, series completed. Come on. And DNF books. Yeah, she did. I think so too. Okay. Then we have longest book, shortest book, average rating. Longest book, shortest book, average rating. Okay, now I can fill it in with some deco. I also felt like there should have been more of a conclusion to her parents, I think. Like maybe she could have stood up to her parents a little bit to kind of, because they were just horrid. Like they were always fighting, so much so that like no one even wanted to rent the building downstairs because they were throwing things and always causing chaos. And I feel like she just really just missed her sister. That was like a big part of the book, is that she had lost her sister due to an illness when she was little, and it was something that she never really fully got to get over because she just loved her sister, which 100%. So she struggled with that a lot, and her parents, I think, used anger as a way to cope with it. But I feel like they could have made some kind of resolution. Like, I feel like she stood up to her fiance, but I feel like she could have stood up to maybe some more people, like maybe Octavia, because I know they talked. Octavia is the person that like worked at the library, and I think that they could have like, Octavia wanted her back and all this kind of stuff, but yet Mateo got to be in his care. I know he didn't look up his address, but he still got to be with Arthur and he didn't lose his job. I feel like they could have let there could have been like a more of a scene where she kind of like goes back and like uses it. Oh, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so let's do. I usually do the books in order, I believe. Yeah. So the first book I read was The Night in the Moth. So what I did is I printed some stickers for each book that I read that's not part of the book club to kind of give like fan art, just like I did back in January. Let me show you. When I read this book, I kind of like pulled different stickers to kind of like fill in the space. So I did that again for all of the books that I read this month. So I'm gonna be doing that again. I loved how I set that up. So let's start that. Where are those? Here we go. What do I think of Nigel's character? Good question. So Nigel is Oh, the light's going down. I hope it's not too dark for you guys. I don't have the light on in my actual hobby room because the light is so bright in here, it just gives the worst glares. So I just have my studio light on. So I hope it's okay. So let me know, okay, either way. Um, I also felt bad, Sharon. I felt like he was trying really hard to connect with Arthur, and he was trying to make amends of some of the things that might have happened, to make connections, and he was really, really trying, and he was so calm and so gentle to Arthur, and I thought Arthur was just kind of like harsh with him, even though Arthur didn't know that he was dying. So I felt really bad for him. His story was really sad. That he just, yeah, he had a illness. I forget which one, but he was not going to make it. And that was just kind of like the end of the book, and that's kind of where they left it. And it's very sad. Okay, we have this. Did this great big castle. And then I did this fan art of her with the gargoyle. Thought that was really cute. And then I found this fan art of her with her shroud on. Very cute. Yeah, I also felt bad for him. That was really sad. Very, very sad. And he came in like very late in the book. Like originally, he met Mateo in an alley of his mom's club and then like asked to join the book club as a way to like get to know Arthur, to like get invited to see Arthur. And he just like surprised me, I think. His character was so out there. Like it was kind of surprising as another character to add into there. But they didn't really show like his perspective really. Like I don't think they had a section of just his perspective. I could be wrong on that one. Okay, let's add the book cover here. So I got the knight and the moth. And then I'm gonna fill this in. And this one is by Rachel Gilling. G.I. The number of pages is 385. And it is fantasy. And I started it on January 5th. Guys, this one was hard for me to get through because I like renewed this book like 100 times and just like could not stay with it. Like I just couldn't. Okay. If you could have coffee with one of the characters, who would it be? I would be with Arthur, even though I'm sure he would scare me. That is a good question. I like that one. Good question. Oh, I think Maisie. I think she is just very, very, very fun, and she would make you some like really delicious treat, which I think would be amazing. She would um like kind of read you, which would be really cool to like have her read your like your palm or whatever. I think she would just be super, super fun to kind of interact with. So I'm gonna say Maisie. Who would you guys all choose? That's a great question. I love that one. Okay, this one is for Glorious Rivals. Okay, I'm gonna start chatting about the second book so that I don't run out of time. So the second book is Counterfeit, and that book is about a girl named Ava, and she is um I don't know if she is from like which country she is from. Is she from Hong Kong or did she just visit her family in Hong Kong? Anyways, she is Asian descent and she leads a very like simple life. She has a toddler who is very, very, very high needs. So she is constantly always like sleep deprived and she is very, very exhausted and overworked due to this high needs child. Now, her husband is a doctor and he is doing lots of like schooling and training and stuff like that. And so she is trying to be supportive while also trying to be like, hey, I also am here and wants to be paid attention to a little bit. Um, and she, like I said, leads a very, very simple, not lavish lifestyle. And she meets up with her friend from college, and her friend from college tells her that she um like makes or buys from manufacturers these counterfeit purses and then she returns the counterfeit purse to a store and then takes the original and sells it online. So she gets the money from the online sale, she gets the money, and then she gets the money back from the store when she returns the counterfeit purse. Now, Ava is like at first like disgusted and doesn't like that her friend is doing this and cannot believe she like um would like involve her in something like that. And so she is a little bit outraged and then she is struggling in her marriage a little bit because her husband wants to move to where he's doing like his schooling and practice during the week so that he doesn't have to commute as much. And she is very overwhelmed and frustrated because they have such a high needs kid that she feels like she is doing a lot of the work there. And she had to give up her career as a lawyer to be with their child. So she's just feeling like she is not being heard by her husband. She doesn't have anything for herself. And they get into this big argument, and she ends up going with her family to, I believe it's Hong Kong, but I could be wrong. Could be wrong. I apologize if I am. She ends up going to visit her family overseas. And when she gets there, her husband had shut off her access to all of their money. So she is in a foreign country um, and has no money to pay for anything. And so she's with her child. And so she's very like scared and everything like that. So she calls up her friend Winnie, who is the person that does the counterfeit purses, and tells her that because Winnie asked her to help her um, oversee the quality control of these purses while she was in, I'm going to keep saying Hong Kong because I don't remember if that's correct. While she is there visiting family to check the quality control. And originally she had said no. And then she was like, well, I have no money while I'm in Hong Kong. So I'm going to talk to Winnie. And Winnie gets her to go and visit this manufacturer. And then she said she'll give her some money so that she can have her own independence, but also get her own money for while she's in this foreign place. So she goes to the manufacturer and um what am I trying to say? She goes to the manufacturer and she does the quality control with all of Winnie's instructions. She's very nervous. She's very scared. She like sees the poor quality conditions that these purses are being made in. She's all like concerned about it and doesn't like it. And oh, I cut out an audiobook version and I needed to put a regular book, so I can't put that in right now. So she does the quality control check and she ends up getting paid, and then she goes back to America, and her husband make up and everything is all good, and she decides that is going to be the only time she ever does that, and that is just going to be that. So then she meets up with Winnie again, and she ends up, um, I believe she ends up like, I forget how they end up back together again, but they end up being back together, and she ends up working for her longer. Oh, because she wants to get her son into all these testings because she's trying to get him into these preschools, but they're not accepting him because has all of these issues, and so she is trying to get him into all of these professionals to, like, see what's wrong with him, but her husband doesn't wanna do it because he says it's not needed, so she wants to do it secretly. So she goes to Winnie so that she can get more money, so she ends up starting the business with Winnie. Now, what she does is she goes to do quality control checks because Winnie can't leave the country at the moment. She ends up getting personal shoppers on board so that they can um, sell to more places and do more returns and do more buys and stuff like that. So she is full force into all of this stuff. Well, they do get kind of caught because um, something someone like if something triggers it where someone tries to return something, but they realize that it is a fake, and so the police are kind of catching on to their scheme, and so they decide the best thing to do is to just come clean. So Ava goes to the police, and the whole book is like her talking to the police and explaining the whole story to the police, and how like she is very innocent. This was all like Winnie's idea and Winnie's plan and Winnie's fault kind of thing. And she definitely plays that narrative like the whole time until about like two-thirds of the book. Now I'm gonna do some spoilers here, so if you don't want to hear the spoilers, I really apologize. That's kind of what we do in our book club, so I apologize if you don't want to hear this part. But she does um end up after the police station going to see Winnie, and it turns out that this was all their plan all along, that she was very much involved, way more than we thought. And this whole thing of her going to the police is just to be able to get them both scot free. Now, remember, she is a lawyer, so she does have a lot of like knowledge of things to work in their favor. And so she's extremely smart when it comes to all of the like legalities and the logistics and everything like that. So the whole story is told by Ava's perspective to the police until about two-thirds. Then we go to like Winnie's perspective, and it's Winnie's story about like how it all started, this whole business, and how she got into it, and how she um like got kicked out of college, and then she pivoted to this kind of situation. So it's her whole story about that, where she is now in America and like what she's doing. She did a lot of like face surgery, she did different things like that to not be recognized. And it's her and Ava like talking back and forth, like, I think the police bought it, I think we're gonna get off easy. And they do, like, Ava just basically gets like a slap on the wrist and gets like some community service, I think, or something like that. But she gets off very, 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 very little. And I think she's just on like probation, so they have to like watch her and stuff like that. And Winnie is basically like in the wind. Like they don't um she kind of is like, I don't even know where Winnie is. Like, I have no idea where she could be. And so she just kind of like is on the run and the police don't know where she is. So that's always like the thing. Anyways, that's kind of the gist of Counterfeit. I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I loved the twist in the middle, like near the end. I loved that whole thing because I thought the whole story was literally just her saying how much she got brought into this whole situation. So hearing the big twist at the end was really good. I really, really liked that. I loved learning like different aspects of different cultures. Like they talked a lot about how there is pressure for all kids of Asian descent, at least from her perspective, of having like a really good job. And even if you don't love that job, it's still important to have that good job, like, um, to it she didn't love being a lawyer at all, but her family still wanted her to have that job because it was a good job, and, like, her being at home with her kids right now is, like, not really what they want her to have, and she struggles with just even being, um at home because she feels that pressure that she should go out and do more and more and more. So that was very interesting part of it too, and very like cool to hear. Okay, March 15th to March 16th. I'm gonna put fiction as the genre. So what were your guys' thoughts? What did you really love about the book or not like about the book? What were your takeaways from it? So I set up Counterfeit here, and I kind of set up Glorious Rivals. I'm not loving this, so I might like redo some of this part. I think I just didn't have enough. Like I felt like I loved how Night and the Moth was like very full, and I feel like this one is just not as much. So maybe we just like adapt this and add some more here. Yeah, maybe something like that. I feel like this ring could really go in there too. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the next page. The next book that I read was Enchanted Greenhouse, so another audiobook that I listened to. So yeah, I really, really loved the different aspects of Counterfeit. I felt like it was a very different book. I felt like I loved learning all about the struggles with her child and the struggles with her husband. I felt like that was all very, very well written. I really liked it. I got big things, so I'm not gonna need much up there. Gonna put some more down here. So April, we have 2 books, and they are let me just look up the names of them because I can never remember book titles. So one is Cassandra in Reverse. That is the optional book. And that's the optional book for April. But the main book for April, let me see here. Oh, On Wings of Blood. It is the first book in the Bloodwing Academy. This book came out in 2024, but I believe the third book just came out. I believe it's the third book. Or is it the second one? The third book. Yeah, either just came out or is just coming out. So the main book for April is going to be On Wings of Blood. Thank you so much. Sorry, you like commented and I'm like trying to Google it. On Wings of Blood, it is a fantasy book. I hope that you guys don't mind that I picked a very fantasy book. That is 100% my genre, and I feel like often people want me to do romance, and then when I do romance, the people are like, that wasn't my favorite genre. And so I tried to move a little bit away from the romance for a little bit. So we don't have any romance in April, May, or June. So Cassandra in Reverse, I believe, is a mystery, but it also plays with like elements of time in there as well. So there's that in there too. So that'll be interesting as well. I'm very excited to read both of them. This is the Enchanted Greenhouse. That book club date, let me just pull up a calendar here so I can give you the date. So we always do it the last Wednesday of the month. So it is going to be on April 29th this next time. So we have a good long time to read it because it is a bigger book. Like it is, I think Goodreads has 523 pages, so it is a bit of a bigger one. I hope you guys don't mind that. You'll have to let me know what you guys think, I guess, at next book club, but I wanted to do something a little bit different, so we did fantasy this time. So we have Enchanted Greenhouse here, and then the last book I read was The Lonely Hearts Book Club, which I'm going to use the book club kit. I know, it's a bit of a bigger book. I apologize. Um, it is a book that got recommended a couple times, so I thought I would give it a chance. I apologize for it being so big. Yeah, it's a bigger one. Okay. I'm like loving putting fan art in there. I think that's just very, 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 very fun. It allows me to do make each spread like each book its own spread, which I think is going to utilize my book a little bit better. I need to go back in and like fill all of the pages because oh no, you're fine. Yeah, I think it'll be good too. I'm very excited to read this series. Okay, so it literally says on there which mashup did I see? I think this is the one that is a Draco Malfoy from like Harry Potter and Hermione kind of like fanfic. That's kind of how it started. Like I think that's what I've been reading. I could be wrong, but I think that's what people are saying. So I think that could be very interesting. And I'm a sucker for all things dragons, so bring it on. I already have the audiobook reserved for that one. Like it's already on my list. So I think I have like 2 more books to read first or listen to first. And I think I should be able to get those done quickly because one I've already started. And then I'm on to that one. So very, very excited. I think that one's gonna be really popular because the third one just came out. Oh, that's good to know. Oh, that's good to know. I love that. Um, so that you were saying that you like it when the books are the first book in the series because it adds more to your reading list. That's so nice. I love that. We did that a few times, like the Crescent Moon Tea Room was a first book in the series. We have done Mate, and that was the second book in the series. So we did um Bride, first two. But we mostly do standalones, I guess. Not too many in a series. I'm just kind of willy-nilly putting things in right now. Not really thinking of it much. Let's do this. You liked the Mystery Royale and the Crescent Moon Tea. You know what? I never read the Mystery Royale book. I still need to read that book. That was the book of the month that like of my surgery, and I think we ended up canceling that book club month because I was just done. And so I didn't read that book. And I really need to. So maybe I should make sure it's added onto my list to make sure I read this year. I loved the Crescent Moon Tea Room. So you like cozier type books and like mysteries? Because I think Mystery Royale was a mystery, and I think the Crescent Moon Tea Room was a cozier book. But are you saying that the Mystery Royale was a series? Because I thought it was just a standalone, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, and then the Lonely Hearts Book Club book. Put that in there. Okay, I'm going to quickly fill this out. Lonely Hearts Book Club. This one, oh, I didn't put the author. Oh, it's right here on the book. Lucy Gilmore. 352 pages. Genre, I would just say fiction. March 23rd to 31st. Oh, it is a second. Okay, that's good to know. Did you end up reading the second one of either of those series, the Mystery Royale and the Crescent Moon Tea Room? I know I have the second book of the Crescent Moon on my holds right now. So that is like on my 26 books in 2026. That's one of my books to read because I really wanted to finish that one. I loved that book. I was at the used bookstore in my town the other day, and I actually found, oh, I didn't write the author for this one either. I found one of the book club books for like later in the year, like one of the additional books. So I picked it up. I was so excited. It's the Where'd You Go, Bernadette book. I know that's like later in the year. This book here, I started in November and I had like 3 hours left, and then my hold literally like disappeared. Like while I was listening to it, it just like stopped and then I lost it. It was so sad because I get all my books on Libby, and so it just stopped, and that was it. So that one took me a while because I had to wait for the hold again, and it was a long hold. That one sucked. Okay, I'm gonna quickly, we're almost done here, but I'm just gonna quickly add in a couple things. So we have, I finished the Lonely Hearts Book Club. If you guys didn't see, I posted a video today of me filling in my stats after I read The Enchanted Greenhouse. That's on Instagram and on TikTok. And I'm going to fill in here. So we are on purple. My 10th book. 45 more to go. Last year, I bumped up my numbers a lot by reading a lot of manga, and I need to do that again because that was very, very, very helpful. This wasn't a book on my 26 books of 2026, but I need to fill in my genre tracker. Where are those? Right here. And it is a fiction book. Lots of fiction this year. I didn't pull out the colors for the reading mosaic, so I'm not going to fill that one in. And then the book of the month, I think I didn't print the picture, but I think my favorite book this month is going to have to be Glorious Rivals. I really, really loved it. So that one's going to go in there. And then I ended up filling in all the books for the Prairie Book Club. These are the optional books, and then these are like the main books. So we have Wings of Blood, and then Yellowface, and then The Light Between Oceans. So I need to fill in this one. Gave it a 4 stars. One of my goals is to read all of the book club books this year. So I am one behind because I didn't get to reading Better Than the Movies. So I need to finish that one, but I do have it on my holds right now. So should be soon, I think, to get to finish that one. And then it wasn't a fantasy or a romance. It didn't finish any series. I don't need to add it to my passport. It wasn't a trope. And this one is in March, so I need to fill out my winter bingo. Let's see. What can I put this one for? White cover, no. Bestseller, one more title, no. Published in February, so W, no. Based on a true story, no. Is it the past? No. Borrowed from the library? Well, yeah, I guess. Not a series. Same book as a friend. I'm gonna put same book as a friend because we all read it together. Okay, let's put this back. And I think that is it for all my stats. What's the passport page? Oh, good question. So this is where I fill out just randomly if there's like a place in a book. It could be like a real place or a fictional place. And then I just put like one of them is from Vienna Shores. That was the Sounds Like Love one from North Carolina. So I put it in there. So if I wanted to put like where this book took place, I could put it in there. But I'm trying to like get a little bit more out there than just the US. So just to kind of fill in different places that your books take you. Okay, so let's go and see what we all did. So we have, yeah, thank you. We have our main title page. I might put some more deco in here later on. We have our March reads page, my stats, the Night and the Moth, Glorious Rivals, which I literally just stopped writing, Counterfeit, The Enchanted Greenhouse, and the Lonely Hearts Book Club. Yay, we did it! Thank you guys all so much for joining me. I hope that you guys enjoyed today, and I'll see you guys next month for our book on Wings of Blood. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Thanks for joining.